Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone on this Tuesday, and we're staying with cricket for this segment. The final round of matches in the 2024-25 West Indies four-day championship bowls off on Wednesday across four venues. Sir Frank Worrell Memorial Ground will host combined campuses and colleges, and Jamaica Scorpions, West Indies Academy and Windward Islands Volcanoes face off at Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua. Third placed Barbados will play away to fourth placed Hurricanes at Warner Park. And in the clash of the round, the one that will potentially decide the 2025 champions, leaders Guyana Harpy Eagles travelling to Port of Spain to play second-placed TNT Red Force at Queen's Park Oval. Now ahead of this huge matchup, captains Joshua De Silva of the Red Force and the Harpy Eagles' Tevin Imlach spoke at the Cricket West Indies captains media interaction earlier on Tuesday.
We knew the last game of the season was going to be a straight shootout. It's like a final. So, yeah, the vibe of the camp is still really good. We know where we went wrong and what happened in that last game against Jamaica, and just try and not let those things happen again. And, yeah, in training today, everybody's happy and ready to go again, excited for this clash.
We've been playing good cricket. It shows because we're top of the table. So we're very confident. We have the necessary pieces together where we have our planning and where we've done our planning and stuff. So we just need to execute our plans and again, treat it as another cricket game and not try to get too ahead of ourselves and think too much about the championship. I mean, if we play good cricket, and that would obviously take care of itself.
Nikhil Uttamchandani is still with us for this discussion, but before we engage him, here's a look at the points table heading into the final round, and you'll see how close it is at the top there with the Harpy Eagles, 111.6 points, just 6.2 points ahead of the Red Force on 105.4. The Pride are within striking distance, albeit not likely but mathematically possible. They're on 100 points. Hurricanes are fourth on 94.6. Scorpions, Volcanoes, West Indies Academy and the CCC are the bottom four teams at the moment. Nikhil, thanks for staying with us for this further cricket discussion. The opposing captains at Queen's Park Oval, Tevin Imlach and Joshua De Silva, we aren't sure what Darren Sammy and his men will do with the test captaincy, but there is a feeling that these are two names that are in the hat. Does this clash add some spice in that context?
Yes, because of, I think, the runs tally in both of their individual pursuits. Both have had very good seasons with bat in hand. And also, I think, yeah, leadership-wise, you wanna win tournaments, right? You want to win a four-day competition when there's test captaincy and discussion of test captaincy for Imlach, looking for his second straight. He's had another very prolific season with bat in hand, going over 500 runs this year. And then for Joshua De Silva, this is a great way to knock on the door and say, look, I know I've been dropped. I know there's been, some poor performances in the past, but you've asked me to go back to the drawing board. I've got 500 plus runs, 300s, and I've won a tournament leading my team. So for both of their individual pursuits, it's huge. But I think just for each territory, when you think about Trinidad and Guyana's rivalry across formats, across the Caribbean, curry chicken versus chicken curry, I'm sorry for saying it. But also, I think just the way that it's boiled down, where you have in both of these teams the top 4 run scorers in the tournament, you've got the top 2 wicket takers in Carey Peer and Versami Pramal. It sets up a gripping, final series.
Yeah, Nikhil, you studied this game in a big way, and I know that Guyana's impressive run over the past decade, 7 titles in the last 9 years, started off by Leon Johnson's expert leadership. From 2014-2015, but they have continued even after his retirement. Can you point to something about the Guyana Harper Eagles game that triggers the kind of success that they've been having consistently for such a long time?
Lads, I thought about this at length today because for me it has to be system. I say that because I'm thinking about the same years of Leon Johnson, and you always thought when certain guys went out to the Guyana team, there would be a transitionary period that needed to happen where they would have a few seasons that they didn't dominate. But I think what they've been able to do is every year they get new players, and the captain said it today in that press conference. He said it's about a coming of age. He said it about Kevlon Anderson, who's obviously scored over 500 runs this year. But I look at so many players. Kevin St. Clair last year, who scored also 500 plus. Matthew Nandu, who had a very quiet season last season and now has come in and almost tripled his runs. Again, Kemal Savory. There's so many young players each year that are stepping up to the plate. And Ronaldo Ali Muhammad, he was playing cricket in the USA 3 years ago. Now he's taken 25 wickets at 15 apiece. So for some reason, they have found a way to develop players and allow them to be successful at the regional level in an elite way and in a way that they continue to win tournaments. Gurukesh Moti only played 3 games this year, and people would look at a Guyana team and think he would take the bulk of the wickets. But they have found ways for other guys. I think their bowling attack is obviously a big part of it, with Pramal, being a stalwart that he is for the number of years. But you look at the last game, this same game in the first innings, the spinners didn't take a single wicket. The pacers took all 10. So they've got pretty much all departments covered. I want to underscore, though, Imlat's leadership, we have to credit him because he's come in and out of the team. He went to Pakistan, came back, led them. He's found a way to develop this group of players into winning. And, across 2 seasons, if he can get the job done, that's no easy feat.
Yeah, you just mentioned Ali Muhammad just now. How good is he? He is the leading fast bowler in wickets in the tournament so far by a considerable distance in a part of the game that has been dominated by spinners. How good is Ali Muhammad?
You also Ricardo just writing some controversial question for me in a couple of minutes. But Lance, for me, Ali Muhammad, I want to say, to be honest, he really surprised me. I saw him in the US a few years ago. I think it's very simple. He's very fundamentally simple in terms of swinging the ball. Doesn't have a great deal of pace. His run-up is not conventional, but what he is accurate. And he's able to hit that good length, which is key in red ball cricket, quite often. I also want to underscore, and Imlat spoke about it today, people underestimate his batting, but he's got a couple of 50s this year for Guyana and played some crucial innings. But if you asked me at the beginning of the season if I would see him taking 25 wickets at 15 apiece, I would say no way. So I want to give him full credit. He's obviously worked hard at his game and found a way to control length, and that has been critical. It shows that you don't necessarily need pace all the time. If you can be accurate and find enough consistency on West Indian pitches, you can be successful.
Yeah, Nikhil, I'll leave the Syrian bouncer for later on in the over, but I'll start with just a delivery back of a length, and I know you're fully capable of handling it. There is no doubt that in terms of the pure numbers so far in the CWI 4-day championship, they look good. We've seen a lot of batsmen scoring big runs and scoring consistently as well. We've seen quite a number of bowlers doing well statistically. But have you seen anybody yet in this tournament, when I say yet, it's almost over, that you would say to yourself, I want to see that person in the West Indies team?
Joshua Bishop. I'm
Why
saying
is
that, and when I say in the West Indies team, I don't mean right now. It doesn't need to be right now, but at some stage, he's 24 years old. And I'll tell you why. I'm a big person on continued success. Sustained excellence like yourself, Ricardo, and Lance has been for a number of decades, right? For me, I look at last season of Joshua Bishop, 42 wickets, took the most wickets. This season, he's come back, 28 wickets again, 3rd most in the tournament. He's 2 runs away from being the West Indies Academy leading run scorer at numbers 7 and 8 with 102 half centuries with bat in hand. I just think a guy who can take 2 5-wicket hauls and a 10-foot and then score 100 as well. This is unprecedented. I don't remember any all-rounder dominating a West Indies 4-day championship like this. Maybe Rakeem Cornwall a few years ago, but again, the batting wasn't to the level that Bishop has been. I don't know if he's necessarily the fix. Look, the West Indies have got a quality spin, 2 quality spin options in Moti and Warrican, but I think it's criminal for me that Bishop was not involved in the CPL last year, and definitely he must be involved in some format. He can play all 3 formats. He's shown you enough skill in the white ball format with the drift he can get with the new ball, and now in the red ball. I was looking to see how he would come back this season. He has been tremendous. I also want to give a mention to Kevlon Anderson, because I just think his temperament that he bats with in the red ball formats, especially in this 4-day tournament this season, just watching him, a lot of times they lost wickets at the other end and he was challenged. There would be times where, in this last game actually, 6 or 7 overs where Guyana scored 3 or 4 runs. 4 runs actually to be exact, and never panicked, never looked like the pressure got to him, was able to grind, and that grind factor is something that I think the West Indies team can miss sometimes. So another one who's 24 years old in a similar age range to Bishop, I'm keeping an eye on these two specifically. Very impressive seasons.
Yeah, I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I can just imagine someone watching this program and they're saying, but Nikhil, the reason Joshua Bishop is able to take so many wickets is because he bowls so many overs, match in, match out.
Warranted, but I still think you have to get people out. And I also want to talk about the fact that I'm not only speaking about the bowling, I think the batting as well, Ricardo. And look, if that's your argument, I understand his average wasn't, the best. It was closer to 30. You look at Carey Pear, who's been averaging 11 per wicket, which is unreal. But what about last year? 42 wickets? I mean, to do it in multiple seasons. And I also want to say, I think the wickets this year have been quite placid. Not very easy for spinners to bowl in. He's had a few chances dropped from the games I've seen as well. So we have to add in these caveats. But I understand the argument. I still think it's an extremely impressive feat to be up there with the runs and the ball and with wickets.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's get into this one now. Will the next West Indies captain be playing in the Red Force versus Harper Eagles contest tomorrow? The next West Indies test captain.
Ricardo, I'm good with back of the line, but anytime it gets the head height, I kind of struggle a little bit. But that's quite a heavy question. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say yes.
I don't know why you're stopping there.
I'm just saying yes. No, because you asked me a question. I don't need to go into any more detail. It's a yes or no question.
So you're really going to force me to follow up?
No, but as the stalwart that you are, you should know that you never ask yes or no questions because sometimes you get yes or no answers.
Well, you've been on the show long enough to know that the follow-up is coming. So you could just go on, continue, and give the explanation rather than force me to bowl another bouncer.
Am I allowed to say I don't want to comment at this time, or I need to comment?
You need to comment. Who do you think is going to be the next West Indies test captain?
This guy is my boss, so I have to listen to him. He's the exec producer at SportsMax, so we must listen to whatever he says.
Come on, Nikhil, you're wasting time.
Sorry, I don't want to be definitive in one person, but I do look at both Imla and De Silva as two guys who are considered, and I do think both of them have quite a good chance to lead the West Indies. De Silva, because he's been vice-captain for a long period of time. He's captain Trinidad across formats. And I know it's a long shot because he's been dropped out of the team. But I just wonder if this security could give him a bit more confidence in his batting, given that he's experienced at the test level. And I'll say on the other side of things, Imla has an outside chance because if you can lead your nation to 2 years of winning a 4-day tournament, which is not easy with the amount of teams and the varied conditions around the region, I think it must hold some weight. You have that proof that you can lead successfully and do it for a sustained period of time. So I think, yes, I'm going with yes, a captain will be in one of these two teams.
Do you think Imlak's limited test experience will work against him when the decision ultimately is being made?
No, because I think I'm looking at the other options and it's not like anyone else is really standing out. So I don't mind with a new coach, sort of a new way of playing. I don't mind looking at someone and sort of saying, look, let's invest in the future and let's build with new principles and new morals around the guy. Even albeit he has limited experience, he's done enough with bat in hand, more than enough with bat in hand to earn a place and secure a place in the West Indies test team.
Yeah, here's another one. How unfortunate would it be, let us say, either Joshua De Silva or Tevin Imlak is named captain. How unfortunate would it be for the other guy because both have been brilliant this 4-day season?
Yeah, well, it would be unfortunate. I would challenge the other guy to go into next year's 4-day tournament or the other opportunities they have, score another 500 runs and make the team as a batter. There's always grass and the grass is always greener on the other side. Not always, but sometimes, Ricardo.
I don't know if that's the reason. You know what? One quick one, by the way. I heard in 15 seconds, I heard Reds Pereira suggesting that maybe it's time to go to an all-format captain in the same way we now have an all-format coach and Shea Hope is in the ideal position. I'm not sure if that's just because he's already T20 and 50 over captain. Do you subscribe to that?
I don't subscribe to that. I just feel... Yeah, for me, I'm an evidence guy, and I want to see... I mean, don't get me wrong, I think Shea Hope can be successful in the test format, but I would like to see him play a bit more first-class cricket before he's selected into the Red Ball team.
All right, Nikhil Uttamchandani, as always, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I'm pretty sure we'll chat again soon. Don't worry, I'll take down the pace next time.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's go to a break on the SportsMax Zone. Guess what we're going to be talking about next? Arsenal. Yeah, they were in frighteningly good form today against Real Madrid, and the man who's going to be joining us to talk about it is, you know, that guy. We'll be back.